Hello and welcome to Pretty Good Gaming. My name is Mike Williams. I'm joined by Jake Kulkowski.
Hiya.
Hi Jake, say hello to the nice people.
I was choking on water, just like silently suffering. I was like...
We're talking about Destiny 2 today. We jumped into the beta a couple of days ago. We did ask Bungie and Activision for codes to get into the beta, but there was no reply, so we had to
make our own way.
We had to resort to some illicit means. Let's leave it at that. We got in anyway a couple of days ago, purely in the name of journalism, so we could tell you guys all about it. So it's a closed beta at the moment. It opened a couple of days ago, like I said. I think it was the 18th. I think was the start date.
That's right.
And it goes open to everyone. It opens to absolutely everyone on July the 21st, which is Friday at 10 AM Pacific, so today. So if you haven't had a chance to get in yet, you can this weekend and see what it's all about. It concludes on Sunday, July the 23rd at 9 PM Pacific. So what's included in it, in the Destiny 2 beta? It's pretty small actually, isn't it?
That's right.
It's not a huge one.
Yeah.
Briefly, it contains one story mission, one strike, which is the kind of PvE mode, one of the main PvE modes in Destiny, and 2 Crucible modes and maps, so you can get into some PvP multiplayer as well. So we'll talk all about that in just a second, but briefly, Jake, what do you reckon to this beta so far?
Yeah, like you're saying, you can't ignore the size, especially compared to the first one, which had such a large beta. It doesn't give too much away.
No, it doesn't.
Destiny's one of those games where I played it and at the time I loved it. It washed off me fairly quick and I couldn't remember any of the enemy names. I feel like so familiar with it already.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're the hobgoblins. You shoot them in the chest, not the head. Yeah. You know, I wasn't a huge fan of Destiny 1. I played vanilla quite a lot. And I came back to this and yeah, it's very enjoyable. It's very Destiny. It's, if you like the formula, it's a lot of this, you know, more of the same really. You know?
I agree to that, and I am testament to that, because I actually loved the first Destiny. I was a big fan of it, and this is basically exactly what I would have wanted from it. There is an argument of is it a true sequel or is it just a very good expansion? Could it be a huge expansion? Because they did talk about this 10-year plan for Destiny when they first started marketing it and stuff. So that obviously is, you know, this is a sequel. Whether or not that was always a plan, who knows? But it does feel like a worthy upgrade in most departments for me. Like we've already said, it's a very small beta. It's only a few things you can do in it compared to the first one, especially, which had a huge beta, didn't it? That was vast.
Yeah, the first one you could explore pretty much the whole first area, Old Russia. You could do like the patrol.
Marvelous. I loved that.
Yeah, exactly. You could just roam around on the sparrows and stuff. So it gave you a real sense of being in the world. And then you could do a mission on the moon. But you started off in a Destiny 1 beta at level 1, and then you could progress all the way to level 8. On this beta, Destiny 2, you're a preset, aren't you? Yeah. Everything's kind of predetermined.
Everyone's on the same level. So everyone's at 200 light or whatever. So all the weapons, all the armor values, and your whole character, everything's at 200. Your light level is at 200. Everything is even, and you can't move up from that. You can get different guns, you can pick some stuff up for sure, but you can't move upwards.
No, there's no progression. Yeah. Like when you say pick stuff up, let's not get it twisted. You can't find like engrams like in Destiny 1. So you'll be rewarded at the end of missions and things. But you certainly can't pick up the currency or the engrams. You can kind of see why they've done this though, can't you? Giving all the players a default experience makes for good beta testing, and we need to remember that this is a beta, not a demo.
Let's talk about that. It is a beta. What's in it then? We've given you a brief rundown, but the campaign, the first mission, we'll talk about everything that's in it and give you our thoughts on each one as we go through them, I guess. So the campaign, the first mission is called Homecoming, so that's the first big experience you get. You have to play that. You have to play through that to the end. You can't matchmake that. You can't play with a fire team. It's just a solo experience. And already in that one mission, I was already attached to what was going on. I was more involved in that than the whole of Destiny 1 put together, really, because there was drama in it. There was absolute, like, spectacle is one thing that Destiny could do. Static spectacle, because the skyboxes and stuff were amazing. But this is absolute chaos. It's an invasion, full-on invasion. It's like D-Day scale stuff, and it is spectacular.
One thing I picked up with the level that you play Homecoming that I really liked, actually, is there was that kind of drop-in multiplayer part. Like, there's a part where you have to defend yourself from hordes and hordes of the Cabal that are attacking you, and all of a sudden I realised, oh, there's another player in this. There's no matchmaking. It was seamless.
Very dynamic.
And all of a sudden, like that, he was gone. And the fact that I didn't notice him coming in or going out, but when he was there, I felt a sense of camaraderie was very clever, very seamless, and
very journey-esque.
Yeah, but not at all intrusive. He could have been doing whatever he wanted and it wouldn't have affected my experience, you see. And we didn't have to communicate because you know what you're doing. You're just defending from hordes. And I loved that. I really liked that they managed to show off that in a very clever way.
Hopefully they can keep that up through the whole campaign. I'm really, really hoping that this isn't like a big starting point that's like, oh yeah, look how great we're doing it this time, and then it just falls off and becomes like the original Destiny again. I hope they keep that up. So in terms of other kind of, I guess, story-related tied kind of stuff is the Strike, the PvE mode. So you can matchmake, or you can go in with a fire team of up to 3, and it's called the Inverted Spire. So it's very familiar to the strikes that you had in the original Destiny. However, there is a bit more flavour of the Vault of Glass, which was a bit more complicated, and there was a bit more like puzzle solving to do in there.
Yeah.
This one has more of that. It's like you've got to time your jumps properly. There's a bit of platforming. You've got to be careful where you put your feet. There's a bit where there's a huge danger that's coming at you in kind of cycles, and you've got to work your way past it, and you've got to shoot enemies, you've got to revive your teammates, you've got to platform, you've got to work it out to get to the next bit, which is superb, right? There was none of that in the first one other than the raids, so I'm really glad that that's in the strikes now, and hopefully they can keep that up as well in the other strikes.
This is the highlight of the beta for me, is the strike. Definitely.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I've played Crucible the most, but I've gone back to this a couple of times now.
So we'll just jump into the Crucible now, and then we'll kind of collate our thoughts at the end. So the Crucible is the PvP. It's the matchmaking kind of Call of Duty kind of thing where you're just playing against another team, and there's objective modes, and you've got to capture points and all that kind of stuff. But this one is 4v4 rather than 8v8, and there's 2 modes. Countdown, which is an objective game type with kind of elimination rules, so if you die, you're out. And then you've got Control, which is, I prefer that, to be honest, and there's teams competing to control objective zones, so there's 3 zones you've got to capture, and whoever's got the high score by the end wins. You've kind of a bit lukewarm on it, aren't you? Your kind of experience with it so far.
This is in fact the only thing that's negative about my time with Destiny. PvP, the whole thing, right? So I'll run it down real quick. So I've got a huge problem with the guns in Destiny 2, because PvP in Destiny 1, a lot of people favour the fusion rifle, the sniper rifle, and the shotgun. So what they've done in Destiny 2 to try and balance this is that they've made these weapons heavy weapons, like your rocket launchers from the
special weapons.
Exactly. And so you actually can't use a sniper rifle, shotgun, or fusion rifle at all in PvP unless you get heavy ammo, which is obviously they mark it down on the map. But also that's leaked into PvE, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But back to PvP, the fact that everyone's forced to use SMGs or assault rifles kind of puts everyone in close quarters, mixed with the 4v4 game mode. Everything's very claustrophobic, very Halo,
very arena-ish, isn't it?
Exactly. And the thing is, when you're playing as like a lone wolf, there's no chance in hell. With communication and the clans, I was getting absolutely levered. I played both game modes. I've done all right.
I've got to be honest. I did enjoy it, and I'm really upset about there being 4v4 rather than 8v8. I like scale in my multiplayer. I like as many people involved as possible. But 4v4, I did get on quite well with it. I did enjoy it. It's tighter, and it's not terrible. No. It's not as engrossing as the first one. But what I think it is, what it definitely is, as a positive, is it's less chaotic and players duking it out just to get kills. This is a lot more focused on the objective. That's reflected on the scoreboard because there's no KD. There's just like what your contribution was.
Isn't it?
Exactly, and you're ranked by your efficiency, overall efficiency. So you get a score based on your objectives contribution, how many people you killed, how many people you hurt. There's all these different metrics that it takes into account, and then it gives you an efficiency score, which I love. I'm a big fan of that.
Exactly.
So you can be a good player without with having some bad luck with kills, for example.
Exactly. It's kind of esports, like they've got small sizes, and I think it's because they're going to eventually try and push some esports thing. That's why they've got these objective-based things.
Overall, Crucible is the only thing where it feels different, but not necessarily better. Everything else in the beta feels like a step up for me. I've got to be honest. I don't feel like it's much better than it was before, unlike most other things.
I feel like it's way worse.
Right.
Right. I mean, just based on the beta, solely for the fact that why would you take 8 versus 8 out of a massive game that everybody's playing, which is all about like the grand scale of things, make it some claustrophobic arena shooter? What the f*** are you doing?
I think what they could have done is compromise, where they have most modes as 4 versus 4, but one big 8v8 mode, where it's like capture the flag.
They might do that. They might add it on later. They might tack it on. Destiny are known for tacking stuff on, like £40 fucking expansion packs and stuff. They are known for doing it.
Based on what the community community wants sometimes
exactly.
as well.
So. You know, and it's important to know people have been mentioning lack of heavy ammo and stuff like that, and it's already been addressed. So, like you're saying, listening to what the community want, they're already addressing issues in this beta. So, should we just take a quick look at the guns? Because I feel like when you think of Destiny, gunplay is huge, and this is quite a big change, right? Obviously, I've just mentioned my main issue with this beta and with Destiny 2 so far is that in order to balance PvP and take out the overused the shotgun, the sniper, and the fusion rifle, they've made them heavy weapons, including in the main campaign and in PvE modes. So I loved using a sniper rifle, and now I've got 5 bullets every mission until I find heavy ammo. And I'll tell you how many times I found heavy ammo in 3 strikes. Not once.
Well, it's as often as you found rocket launcher ammo, isn't it?
It's less. In fact, there's been fewer ammo drops than Destiny 1, and this is what they've already addressed, because they've been criticised heavily for it. I found no ammo for my sniper rifle. I had 5 bullets every time I went into a shot, and that's it. But that aside, no shotguns, no snipers, no fusion rifles as main weapons. What have they got? Well, there's 6 types, isn't there? You've got all your favourites, the auto rifles, scout rifle and stuff.
Which I've got to put it out there. Every single gun type in this is better than it was in the first one. And that's a great achievement, because shooting felt amazing in the first one. It feels even better in this one.
Exactly. You've been given 2 new primary type weapons, like an SMG, which is a firm favourite for shooter games. I don't know why they dropped the ball on the first game, really, but SMG is a great addition. Yeah. It's exactly what you expect from an SMG, and the sidearms as well, which I've not really used too much of, to be honest. So let's talk about the slots then.
2 primary slots and 1, like you mentioned, special or heavy weapon slot, which is sniper and shotgun. So the 2 primaries, this time, rather than be like primary and secondary, and it just decides which weapon is which. Primary weapons for both fit in both. However, they're sorted by ammo types. So one of them is for just your normal kinetic kind of weapons, and the second is for energy weapons. So they're weapons that have got
the elemental
effects. Yeah, so they've got arc, void, or solar attributes to them. So they do different types of damage, which affect different things. You know, one works better against shields, for example. I do think it's better, I've got to be honest, but I agree with you that having snipers and shotguns as like a special weapon with special ammo is just the wrong decision.
Especially because they're not that OP in PvP.
They're not, no.
But it's essentially a lot more freedom. You can now have, like, let's say you used a scout rifle, you can have 2 scout rifles.
Yeah, if you want.
And for whatever reason. Yeah. But, you know, the ammo is different for them. If you run out of ammo for one type of scout rifle, you've still got another scout rifle to fall back on.
And also, it's super easy to just switch out your weapons. It's so easy just to have a few different weapons in your inventory at any time, just to trade out. And that is a valid thing to do. That's a good thing to do. I don't know what they do. I do not know how they make it so good, but there's just something about the gunplay in it, the mechanics. It just feels better than the original Destiny. They do a great job.
That's what's so funny. You can't put your finger on why it is about Destiny, but there's something so satisfying.
Secret recipe, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's great. And my problem with the weapons was, it sounds like I'm fanboying out, but I liked all of them, and I couldn't decide on which combo to go with.
You're right. Yeah. Having too many guns that all are seemingly good.
So they just dump on you right at the beginning.
You can't relax. Like, I'm thinking, like, oh, I like this gun, but I want to be as efficient a soldier as possible. So if I think I've got a better gun that I can use, or a gun that'll suit me more, because I'm using the burst fire, like pulse rifle thing, and I'm going, this is good, but maybe I want more control. I'll try the scout rifle. Well, no, I'm just basically just being a little bitch about it. Can't just stick to one gun, and it's pissing me off.
We should probably answer a couple of basic questions. I mean, what does the beta actually tell us about the main game? For me, the fact that it's a small sample is slightly concerning, because they were so generous with the first one. You know, I maybe would have liked a bit more exploration and freedom to try a few different things out, because it is a very small beta. I've already burnt through everything that's in it a couple of times over, at least. So other than that, it's very positive for me. As a big fan of the original, it's exactly what I wanted. Whether or not it will win you over if you didn't like the original Destiny, I don't know, but it does compare very favourably to the first one. But that's what I think. I don't know about you. What do you think it tells you about the main game?
I think it's designed a little bit more for people that are familiar with the game. If you're new to Destiny, you never heard of it before, never played it, and you start the game, you're going to have too many guns and it'll confuse you probably. They did get criticised heavily for Destiny 1's beta. Yeah. They said it gave away too much. So maybe this withdrawal of information is to stop people being a little bit underwhelmed with the final product. So Destiny 1 was to give you a flavour of the formula. This one is to say, look how far we've pushed that formula.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that it's definitely worth checking out. I'm not the biggest fan of Destiny 1, but this has kept my attention for at least a couple of hours already in the past 2 days alone, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it later on. You'll probably be wanting a little bit more, especially from the PvP modes, but maybe they'll chuck in an extra bit. They said that they were going to have the farm in the beta, but we haven't had it. I don't know if they're going to add that on the last day.
They're doing a 1 hour social matchmaking test, which I don't really understand what that is going to entail. I haven't
1 hour?
Yeah. I haven't really looked into it. I don't know if that means they're going to open up the farm for an hour or something, but there's going to be some kind of social matchmaking for just a brief window, which don't know if that'll be worth it, but the details are on their website if you want to check that out. So there you go. That's the Destiny 2 beta. If you've got any inclination at all to buy this game, just get in the beta on Friday, check it out, educate yourself. You have the power. They've given you the power to do that, so take it up. Don't pre-order it. See you later.